it's Melissa. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get your brand new Sawgrass SG1000 set up. So we've already unboxed it. If you haven't seen that video, check that out. I've linked to that in the description and up top. And now we are ready to get this all set up. So the Sawgrass sublimation printers are very much plug and play. There's not a whole lot to getting them set up, but we're going to walk through those steps, okay? All right, so the ink that you have, you're going to have 4 ink cartridges. They are all going to go into this ink cartridge slot right here in the front of the SG1000. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of them and open it up out of its foil pouch, and then I'll come around to the front so you can get a better view, and we will do it that way. Now, don't open these until you are ready to install them, okay? So this is the yellow one, all right? So we've got all yellow, the pink, blue, yellow, black, and blue. See, it's a CMYK sublimation printer, okay? Now, these are the starter ink cartridges, okay? So the starter inks, the ink that comes with the Sawgrass sublimation printers is a little confusing because not only is there the HD type ink, which is what I have here, there's also the Sublijet ink, which is the Caesar brand, which is supposed to be premier for the Caesar Easy Subli. Now, honestly, both of them can be used on Caesar Easy Subli. I actually prefer the HD overall, so that's the ink that I went to. So once you've decided between the Sublijet and the HD, then you have to decide if you're going to get the starter ink kit, which is what comes standard, 20 cc's, or you're going to get the regular ink cartridge size, which is 30. Okay, so just be aware of that. So that's a little bit of an upgrade right out of the gate. I think it's about $50 more. But if you're wondering about that, there are basically 4 options. And then actually there are some bundles which you'll find with what's called extended ink cartridges, okay? So that's what that all refers to. It's the amount of ink, the volume of ink, okay? All right, so I'm gonna come around here and we will put the ink right in. Now, what you can see is down here, it will say black, blue, pink, and yellow, all right? So you're gonna put them in that order. So your ink cartridge will tell you what color it is, all right? This is obviously black. So black goes on the far left. I'm gonna press it in until it kind of pops. Then I've got blue, that goes next, okay? And then I have pink, that's next, the magenta, okay? And then yellow, so that will go in last. Now, down here, this is your ink cartridge waste tank. You don't need to worry about that yet, but if you get an alert on the front of your printer that says the waste tank collection is full, you need to replace this. You can't empty it and reuse it. You need to completely replace that. So again, there are some bundles, I think Swing has them, where you can get an extra waste collection unit, and you want to make sure you have one on hand, because if you don't, you cannot print. Once you get the alert that your waste collection tank needs to be replaced, you're not going to be able to print at all. So keep one on hand. That's a good one to keep on hand, along with obviously any of the extra ink cartridges, because again, if one ink cartridge gets if one ink cartridge is empty, you can't print at all. So it's a really good idea to keep extra ink on hand, okay? All right, so we're just gonna close that up, and that's set up. Now, as I said, this is where the paper is gonna go. So when you're ready, you can load your paper in here, all right? This is extended tray, so when it prints, your paper's not falling, all right? And the next thing that we're gonna do is just power this thing up. So the power cord is the black cord that came with your printer, all right? It goes over here on the side, okay? This is where the power cord is. This little slot here, this is where the USB cord is going to go. But remember, the Sawgrass SG1000 has Wi-Fi capability. So once you set it up onto your network, you don't even have to use the USB. But if you are, that's where that belongs. All right, so we will power this on, okay? I'm just gonna connect it to my power, my outlet, okay? And then the power button's obviously right here on the front. Okay, and now it's telling us it's going to probably go through an initiation with that ink, and then it will be ready to go. So we'll have to go through some of these menus to get this finished set up on the Wi-Fi network, and probably do some test printing. But as far as ink installation and powering it on for the first time, that's all you're going to do. Everything else, all of the rest of the directions, steps are going to be right here on the front. Okay, so it took about 7 minutes, as our screen predicted, to go through the initial ink supply and pulling the ink into the lines. Now, what you see here on the front of the screen is the current ink levels. You're probably wondering, why are they what looks like less than halfway full? Well, that goes back to what we talked about with those starter ink cartridges. So this is to be expected, but this is also why I would highly recommend that when you purchase either the extended or at least the 30 milliliter, 30 cc inks. Again, it's also why I would recommend that you get extras, because you're not going to be able to print at all when any of them drop down much lower. Haven't installed your Sawgrass Print Manager yet, make sure you do that. We'll walk you through the steps in the next part of this video. So to install the Print Manager, you're going to go to sawgrassink.com/software, and then you're going to click download. No, mine is recognizing that I'm on a Mac, so you want to download that, and then it is going to install, it will download the installer. Now, whether you are a new or existing Sawgrass user, I would highly suggest that you reinstall the software. As you may or may not know, I have had a Sawgrass SG1000 for years, but I did not have any luck trying to just update the software. So my suggestion is to completely install it again, and what you're going to do is then it'll be in your downloads, and then this is the Print Manager right here. So you're going to launch the installation. So once that happens, it's obviously going to take you through a number of steps. Now, if you get this warning, which I did every time I tried this on my Mac, just click OK, and instead right click on the installer and click Open. And this time it will give you a different box which has two options, and you'll be able to click Open here. Right? So then this will then guide you through the installation process. Okay? It's asking you, of course, where you want to keep it. You're going to click Install. You'll need to put in your computer's administrative password. All right? As you're doing that, once that's finished, you'll be able to click OK, and it's going to ask if you want to move it or keep it. I'm just going to tell mine I want to move it to the trash. So then what you want to do is you can launch Sawgrass Print Manager. So I'm going to launch mine here so you can see. First, I had it open already. Okay, so let's find it, Print Manager. Okay, and I'm going to launch it, and if you haven't, if you're brand new, you'll want to add your new printer. So you'll go up here and you're going to go to the printer utilities. And then if you don't have your printer up here, which now you can see I have my SG1000, if you don't have it there, you'll want to do add new printer. And you'll follow through this process, okay? Selecting the ink, selecting the type of printer, and you'll go through here, all right? Now, at this point, I would connect the computer to the printer by USB. I did not have any luck with Wi-Fi right off the bat, so we'll go back and try that again later, but for right now, I would just connect it through USB. You want to make sure that your printer is on and connected. Mine is, and then you'll be able to move through the rest of the option. Now, if you get stuck here, there is one other way you can do this, and that is by going into your system preferences and adding a new printer there. So you can see I already have mine here, but if you get stuck, you can always try this option. All right, so you can see that because I have my Sawgrass plugged in, it's then listed there. All right, and you can add it that way. So this is just a secondary option if you have trouble doing it through the Print Manager, have trouble adding the printer through the print manager. All right, so then you'll be all set to be able to begin printing, all right, with your Sawgrass. And so even if you're going from Silhouette Studio and you go to print, your printer should show up. See, there's mine. All right, and you can print. Now, printing to a Sawgrass from Silhouette Studio, you don't want to do this exactly, but I have other videos on that which I will link to. But this is how you're going to get your printer and the software all set up so you are all set and ready for your first print.